Hi, I welcome you for the video lecture on the instance-based learning, reinforcement learning and evaluating hypothesis. So this is the first session on the module 5 of the machine learning subject as a part of the 7th semester subject. This video is being recorded for the learning management system for the Department of Collegiate and Technical Education. I welcome you once again. These are the contents that we are going to check in today's session. We are going to see the introduction on the instance based learning, and we are going to do some comparison on the previous algorithms what we have studied in the previous modules, and we are going to check some of the advantages and the disadvantages, and we are going to check there are two learning algorithms that we will be using in our laboratory also, that is the k nearest neighbor learning and the distance weighted nearest neighbor algorithm. The instance based learning methods such as the nearest neighbor and the locally weighted regressions, these are conceptually straightforward approaches for approximating the both real valued as well as the discrete valued target functions. So the learning these algorithms actually it simply consists of storing the presented training data. Okay, so when a new query instance is encountered, we are going to take a set of similar related instances. They are retrieved from the memory and they are used to classify the new query instances. So one of the major differences between these approaches and the methods that we have discussed in the other chapters is that the instance based approaches, they can construct a different approximation for the target function for each of the distinct query instances that have to be classified. So this is the major difference between the learning algorithms what we have seen in the previous classes and these compared to the instance based approaches. Okay, in fact we can say that many of the learning algorithms, the techniques, they construct only a local approximation to the target functions that applies in the neighborhood of the new query instances, and they will never construct an approximation which is designed to perform well over the entire instance space. So this is the main advantage that the target function when the target function is very complex, okay, but still it can be described by a collection of less complex local approximations. So this is one of the significant advantage that the instance based learning method has. Okay, so let's quickly list down some of the advantages. Okay, so the instance based methods, they can be used for the more complex symbolic representation, okay, for the symbolic representation of the instances. Okay, for example, in case of the based learning, the instances are represented in this fashion and the process for identifying neighboring instances is elaborated accordingly. Okay, so the case based reasoning has been applied to these tasks such as for storing and reusing the past experience at the help desk, reasoning about the legal cases by referring to the previous cases, and solving the complex scheduling problems by using relevant portions of the previously the solved problems. That is what the training is very fast. Okay, and the instance based learnings, they learn the complex target functions, and we will not be using any of the informations because we will be reusing the relevant portions of the previously solved problems. These are some of the advantages we have, but one of the disadvantage that the instance based approach has is that the cost that is required for classifying the new instances is very high. This is because the fact that the nearly all computations, whatever the computations that we do it, they takes place at the classification time, but rather than when the training examples are first encountered. So because of this, the techniques are efficient. Okay, the techniques for efficiently indexing training examples are a significant practical issues in reducing the computation required at the query time. This is one of the major disadvantage that we have, that is the cost. Classifying the new instances is actually very high. Okay. The second disadvantage is that many instance based approaches, especially if you take up the nearest neighbor approaches, what we are going to see in the next is that they typically consider all attributes. Okay, they consider all attributes of the instances when attempting to retrieve similar training examples from memory. Okay, suppose for example, if the target concept depends on only a few of the many available attributes, then the instances that are truly most similar may well be a large distance apart. So so that is why because of these three the disadvantages that the instance based learning method has. So apart from that, actually it has got the three advantages. That is, the training is very fast. Okay, we can learn complex target functions and there is no chance of losing the informations. So these are some of the advantages and the disadvantages. Okay, so they actually work with the for both the real valued functions as well as the discrete valued target functions. So let's check the today's the neighboring algorithm, that is the instance based algorithm, that is the k nearest neighbor learning. The basic distance instance based method is this is the k nearest neighbor learning algorithm. We have actually the KNN, in short we call it as the KNN algorithm, and this algorithm we have one lab program for the implementation. Okay, so this algorithm actually assumes that the all instances correspond to the points in the n dimensional space. Okay, so generally we represent it using Rn. Okay, the nearest neighbors of an instances, they are defined in terms of the standard Euclidean distances. Okay, so more precisely we can say that, for example, let an arbitrary instance x. Okay, so let an arbitrary instance x, it is being described by a feature vector, that is a1 of x1 x comma a2 of x and so on an of x. So here in this case the a of x, okay, the a of x, ar of x, so generally r can be 1 to n. So ar of x denotes the value of the rth attribute of the instance x. Okay, and then the difference between the two instances, for example, if you have xi and xaj as the two instances, so the difference between these two instances is written as d of xi comma xj, which is almost equivalent to square root of summation of the ar of xi minus ar of xaj whole square, ranging from r equals to 1 to n. In the nearest neighbor learning algorithm, the target function, as we know that it might be either a discrete valued or the real valued. Okay, so for that let's consider first the learning discrete valued target functions, okay, which is of the form we can say, okay, r to the power n to v, so where v is nothing but it is the finite, v is the finite set. Okay, so the algorithm is been actually given here, the k nearest neighbor algorithm. Okay, so that is been given here. So for each training example we are going to calculate x comma the training algorithm, the k nearest neighbor algorithm for approximation of a discrete value target function is given here. So for each training example x comma f of x, we add these examples to the list, that is the training underscore examples, and then we call a classification algorithm. So each, for a given query instance xq to be classified, we write it, let x1 to xk denote the k instances from the training examples. This is the list that are actually nearest to XQ. Okay, this is what we define, right? So now we calculate this, that is f cap of XQ is equal to argmax of summation delta v comma f of xi ranging from I equals to 1 to k, and the argmax we consider it from v belongs to the uppercase V. So where this del of a comma b is equal to 1 if a is equal to b, and where del of a comma b is equals to 0 otherwise. So this is the actually the k nearest neighbor algorithm for the discrete valued target functions. Suppose if your target function works with the discrete value, then we can go for this k nearest neighbor algorithm. That is the, in short we call it as the KNN algorithm. Okay, so these are some of the diagrams that have been represented here. Now these, if you see here, here a set of the plus indicates the positive training examples and minus indicates the negative training examples, and XQ is actually what it is, the new training instance that has to be classified now. Okay, so now the one nearest neighbor algorithm classifies XQ as positive, whereas the 5 nearest neighbor classifies it as the negative. Okay, this is one diagram, because see XQ, so one is it is, see, if you consider only one nearest neighbor, so for an x, the first positive is here itself. So that is why for one KNN the XQ is classified as a positive, but if you consider for example 5 like that, so in that case if you see within this nearest neighbor, so we have maximum negatives here. In that case it classifies it as the negative here. Okay, so one more diagram if you see here. Okay, this is actually the decision surface induced by the one nearest neighbor algorithm for a typical set of the training examples. So the convex polygon, whatever it is being shown here, the convex polygon surrounding each training example indicates the region of the instance space that is closest to that point. Okay, for example in this case the instances for which the one nearest neighbor algorithm will assign the classification belonging to that training example. Okay, so this diagram is actually, this kind of diagram we actually call it as the Voronoi diagram for the set of training examples. For every training example, the polyhedron, the diagram, if you look at the diagram, it is a polyhedron, right? The polyhedron indicates these are the set of query points whose classification will be completely determined by that training examples. So the query points, okay, which are outside the polyhedron are closer to some other training examples. So such kind of the training examples, as I said earlier, it is called as Voronoi diagram of the set of the training examples. Okay, so the k nearest neighbor algorithm can be easily adapted to approximating continuous valued target functions. Okay, the algorithm has been given here. This is the algorithm for the k nearest neighbor for approximation of a real valued target function. So what we have seen earlier, this is for the discrete valued, now this is for the real valued target functions. Okay, so here also what do we do is we push all training examples into one of the list called as the training underscore examples. Okay, so yeah, training underscore examples, this list, and for the classification algorithm it takes XQ. For example, this is a new instance that has to be classified, so it calculates this. Okay, so f of XQ is equals to summation of I equals to 1 to k f of xi comma xi divided by k. So this is what is being done. Okay, so we actually calculate the mean value of the k nearest training examples rather than calculating their most common value. So this is the algorithm that is being used for the k nearest neighbor algorithm for approximating a real valued target functions. So hope the KNN algorithm is clear. Now let's check the next type of the algorithm. It is the distance weighted nearest neighbor algorithm. So one obvious refinement, okay, the change to the k nearest neighbor algorithm is that it is to weight the contribution of each of the k neighbors according to their distance to the query point, that is xq. Okay, so whichever gives the greater weight to the closer neighbors. For example, the algorithm what we have seen in the previous, it approximates the discrete valued target functions. Now for that what we do is, for the same example, we might weight the vote of each neighbor according to the inverse square of, okay, its distance from xq. It's a distance from xq, and this we can write it with a simple formula here. Okay, so this is a simple formula. If you see here, again we create the training examples, and the earlier, if you look at the previous, the k nearest neighbor. Okay, so this is what we were calculating. Now to this we just add the weight value, so that is wi. And then we take where wi is nothing but it is the inverse of the distance square of its distance from the xq. So that is the difference. So the same as your KNN, but we add the weights and then we take the inverse of the distances. So to accommodate the case where the query point xq exactly matches one of the training instances xi, and the denominator whatever we calculate, that is the square of the distance, is therefore 0. So what we can do is we can assign f cap of xq to be f of xi in this case. Okay, suppose now if there are several such training examples are there, so we can assign the majority classification among them itself. Okay, so this is on the discrete value, okay, distance weighted nearest neighbor algorithm. This was for the discrete valued functions, and this is for the real value. Same whatever we have seen just now, so to that we just add the weight value here. Okay, same again we take a list of training examples, and for each xq, that is a new instance, can be classified by using a function summation of I equals to 1 to k wi f of xi. Then we divide it by the summation of the entire weight, well, that is ranging from I equals to 1 to k. Now here also the weight value remains the same. Okay, so these are the some of the training classification k nearest neighbor algorithm variations we have. Okay, so all the variants of the KNN algorithm consider only the k nearest neighbors to classify the query point. Okay, so suppose once we add the distance weighting, there is really no harm in allowing all training examples to have an influence on the classification of xq. Why? Because because very distant examples will have a very little effect on this f cap of xq. Okay, but the one of the disadvantage is considering all the training example is that the classifier will run more slowly. Okay, so if all training examples are classified when classifying a new query instance, we call the algorithm as the global method. Suppose only the nearest training examples if they are considered, then we call it as only a local method. Okay, so the equation, so this equation is actually, it is applied for the global method using all the training examples. And so this is on the distance weighted nearest neighbor algorithm, and there are some terminologies we need to understand when we study further topics here. The regression means approximating a real valued target function, and residual is nothing but the error f cap of x minus f of x is actually called as the residual, and kernel function is nothing but it is the function of distance that is used to determine the weight of each training examples. In other words, we can say that the kernel function is the function k, such that wi equals to k of distance between xi comma and xq. xq is your new training instance and xi is already the present training instance. Hope the today's session topics are clear. So let's continue the remaining topics in the next session, session 2. Thank you.